Raf Epstein on ABC Radio Melbourne.
They're teaching our kids civics. It's a new subject in the curriculum. It ain't soaking in. Sample question from the civics class that too many of our students failed. What is the main role of the Speaker of the House of Representatives? Now, 40% of Year 10 students, only 40% could answer this correctly. I'm not sure if it's a hard multiple choice or not. Main role of the Speaker, A, keep order when Parliament's in session. B, make the final decision on important policies. C, make important policy speeches. And D, make sure all members of Parliament vote on important issues. It's clearly A. Are we asking too much of our kids if only 40% of Year 10 students could answer that correctly? There's been a lot of gnashing of teeth about the failure of the civics to soak into our kids. But someone who is all across the detail is actually interning at a Labor MP's office. Tim Watts comes in from time to time. Interning there is Yasmin Poole. She is studying first-year law arts at Monash University. Yasmin, welcome.
Hi, Raf.
Would you have been able to answer that speaker question in Year 10?
Look, in Year 10, thinking back, I probably would have given it a good shot, but who knows whether I would have gotten it right. I think that often young people are really interested in politics, but when it comes down to these nitty-gritty things, often young people aren't exactly sure, and we should be questioning why that is.
So here's the question I genuinely don't know the answer. Is the role of the Speaker in the House of Reps or the President in the Senate, is that nitty-gritty, or is it crucial to understanding the way the country works?
It's a fair point, and I'm glad you raised it. After reading about the fact that recently Victorians did so poorly on NAPLAN in regards to these kind of questions, it got me thinking, and I said, look, I know that young people are interested in politics, but why do these kind of things not really resonate? And I think the main problem is that young people are interested in politics, but when it comes to the things like what's the role of the Speaker, that's not something that resonates within young people. Instead, what I think young people are really passionate about is the broader topics, for example, same-sex marriage, things like what's happening on Manus Island in Nauru, and even things like employment and education. So to me, when we ask young people those kind of questions, I'm not sure that it's a good representation of whether young people really care about politics.
How long have you interned in Tim Watts' office for?
Funnily enough, only about a couple of days. It's my new summer internship. But on top of that, I'm actually sitting on Youth Congress at the moment, which is Victorian Government's first initiative. So it's their youth policy board. So we're advising a broad amount of ministers over youth issues and that kind of thing.
So I don't know if this is a fair question. What have you learnt? I mean, just sitting around a Labor MP's office, seated Gellibrand, Melbourne's inner west. What's the thing that strikes you being there?
For me, and I think this is a personal thing just because of my MP, but I'm really pleased at how much he's embraced youth issues. Even yesterday when I was researching over his speeches and going through the content, a lot of the focus was about young people and the fact that, issues are affecting them and their voice isn't being heard. So I think it's really important that politicians start to kind of consider how we can also engage young people rather than just kind of giving them these information, like what's the Speaker's role, and instead, how can we target our approach and make sure young people are being heard and are involved in the conversation.
Well, you stay involved. Good on you for being interested. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks, Raf.
Yasmin Poole, who's in